Come on in the room, ladies. Come on in the room. Oh, my dress is all caught up in the back. Okay. Come on in the room, ladies. Welcome to the Queen Network. Jonah here. I love saying that. One day, I'm just saying, could I possibly be on television? Welcome to the Queen Network. KMJQ. Come on, ladies. Welcome. Come on in the room. Whether you're listening live or the replay, let me know where you're from. A little loud. Hope you guys had a great day. Today is Monday, the day after Resurrection Sunday. Come on in the room, ladies. Let me do my little invites. Let's see. Ooh, Favor, thank you for this song, honey. I love it. Come on in the room, ladies. Let me know where you're chiming in from, please. Whether you're live or replay. We're gonna sing it together. You wore my chains. You wore my chains, so I could be. Come on, lift it up. See yourself. Now I am complete. I just wanna thank you. I just wanna thank you. Wanna thank you, Lord. Who's grateful tonight? Anybody grateful out there tonight? It is finished. God be the... Well, hello there, Madam Nakisha. How shall I say, Queen? I bow in your presence. This little thing here is doing whatever it wants to do. Let's see. There we go. Welcome to the Queen Network, ladies. Come on in the room. Let me know if the volume is okay, okay? It sounds really good to me, but I like it loud. In this place today, we believe in the truth of the word. Well, hello there, Miss Rhonda Anderson. Guys, type in there where you're from. Kalina from Bermuda. Welcome. They went to the tomb. They found that the stone had been rolled away. The stone had been rolled away. So they went in, but they didn't find the body of the Lord Jesus. As they stood there puzzled, two men sat yes, Makisha. Clothed in dazzling robes. I had a great day today. I had a meditation day. I guess y'all can tell. Y'all can tell what mood I'm in on Facebook, right? I've been looking at pictures like, Lord, I just want to be on the beach. He is risen from the dead. North Carolina in the house, Bermuda in the house. Hey, Miss Andrea. I know. So peaceful. Yes. Forgiven, Jesus, you are the risen King. You are alive. Another minute, and we will be ready to go. Beautiful. I love it. Yes, I love it. 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 I love that song. Thank you, Queen Favor out of Ghana. That is River Valley Worship. I've been listening to a lot of their songs lately, so you may want to do a search on them. Guys, go ahead and let me know where you're chiming in from. I think some of you have already. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Hi, Jonah here, Queen of Queens. I don't know who said that. Makisha, I don't know who said it first, but it's just like stuck. So yes, I am the Queen of Queens because you all are queens as a part of the Queen Network. Just to give you a little background, last year, God released me in my womanhood and femininity and had me to go to the airways with this message of Queen Esther and how she went from being a nobody pretty much to basic. And she was a young girl and a virgin, and God moved her, allowed her to be moved into the palace. Okay. And so long story short, we went through all of that through the Esther anointing book. So if you don't have that, you want to get that book, right? And went through a whole preparation. I really didn't know it was a setup for the launching of another part of my ministry called the Queen Network. And so we've got queens all over the place, Africa and Bermuda and the U.S. And so I want to say this before I get started. I hope you all are safe. I hope your entire family is well. We plead the blood of Jesus over your lineage above and beneath you. I've been saying that every day, above and beneath me. We are covered by the blood of Jesus. And so we know right now we're in the middle of a pandemic. And I always say that because I know sometimes videos will be looked at years down the road. And so right now we're in April of 2020. Yesterday was Resurrection Sunday. And so what we're going through right now is a shutdown. We're basically at home. We're being told to stay home unless you have what they call an essential position. And that really has to do with like the drugstore, food, beverages, and that type of thing. Of course, the hospitals and all the medical places are open, but everybody else pretty much we're at home. Now, for those of us as entrepreneurs, we work from home. This is not new to us, but what is new to us is that we can't go anywhere because that's the freedom that you have as an entrepreneur. Your 24 hours, you actually own your 24 hours. So COVID tried to sneak in here and we're letting her know. Why did I call her? I don't know. We're letting her know she is not welcome here. We have the authority in the earth to speak to sickness and disease and to speak to pestilence. And so we make sure that our families are covered and we open up our mouth and we pray and we say what thus said the Lord. Okay. No weapon can come near us. No weapon that's formed. All right. No weapon that's formed. It didn't say it wasn't going to be formed. All right. No weapon that's formed. And we thank God for his grace, for his mercy. I've been I got a chance to see for the first time a virtual funeral. And I said, God, this is very, very hard. I seen a wife bury her husband and her son, a mother and a wife, and she was the only one in that room. And guys, this is not playtime. You should be praying. I know there's two prayers that are going on, right? Prayer calls that are going on right now out of the Queen Network. As far as I'm concerned, I know that I consider them a part of the Queen Network, and that is Queen Favor out of Ghana at 5 a.m. Central Standard Time, 6 a.m. Eastern. Her video should be inside this network, inside the page. I'm speaking this television network. I don't know what's going on, but I've been saying it a lot. But if you scroll down, you'll see her Facebook Live from this morning. This morning, God led her to begin to pray for marriage-ready believers. Some of you would say that's being single. We don't profess or confess singleness, okay? And so we say marriage-ready believer. Before she did that, though, and you always have to intercede and pray for where you are about to go. So she prayed for marriages this morning, and then she just led us through a powerful prayer. I believe, Makisha, you may have been on. I'm not quite sure if any of you other ladies caught it, but it was powerful. You need to go back and listen to that one, because I spoke to her earlier today, and she's saying that the Lord is telling her to continue. And so you have to hear the words that came out of her mouth. I'm not going to try to repeat it. You need to hear it the way God gave it to her by his spirit. And so if it is your desire to be married, you need to listen to that prayer call. And you should possibly be on live with us tomorrow. Yes, absolutely, Makisha. It was extremely powerful. But maybe you're not looking for a spouse, but I'm telling you right now, if you are, you need to go and listen to that prayer, because there are some confessions and things that should be words that should be coming out of your mouth. Okay. I'm not going to be super, super long tonight. Guys, I've been on this, what I call God's plan to freedom, and pray for me, because I believe this is about to be a book. God's plan for freedom. It started last year in January of, well, really, technically, it started in January 2018 with my body. We are a tripart being, spirit, soul, and body. Okay. And so for a long time, I believed I was walking in the spiritual side of myself. I was walking in the soulish realm of myself, my will, my intellect, and all of that, of course, being directed by the spirit. But for a long time, ladies, I didn't know it, but I was in bondage as it pertained to my womanhood, to my femininity, because I lacked self-love. It explains a lot, because a lot of times if you walk through life and you feel like people take advantage of your gift, or people are taking advantage of you, it's because you allow them to do that. People can only treat you the way you allow them to treat you. And so as I began to grow into spiritual things, I stepped into the entrepreneur. I stepped into ministry. And yes, we have ministries that we are connected to all over the world. I have been called to the nations. I know what my calling is. I know what my purpose is. My purpose is to bring systems and strategies to the nations, and to lead this platform called the Queen Network, so that God can release the Esthers and the Deborahs of this time to be deployed into ministry. And why is he doing that? Because there are some things that was lacking. I know in me as an Esther was lacking in me in the area of my femininity and my womanhood, due to life issues that I hadn't resolved. And so as God began to reveal those things to me last year, you guys saw the transformation pretty much right before your eyes. Everything about me changed, even down to my skin. And as I wasn't trying to work out to lose weight, but I realized that to have my health was a blessing. I didn't want to lose it. The other thing was God got on me about having the weight, because I'm called to ministry. I travel a lot. And so to be able to travel, guys, I need to be healthy. All that huffing and puffing. Anybody trying to do that OJ thing through the airport, So huffing and puffing through the airport. And I never got to the point where I needed an extra seatbelt or anything like that. But heaven forbid. But when you got to travel multiple times a week, which is what he's telling me, I hadn't gotten to that point yet. But God told me that this year was going to be a heavy travel season. I don't care about what COVID is doing. I believe God. And so this is going to be the heaviest travel season that I've ever had in my life, especially at the international level. I've been to Costa Rica, it wasn't even March. January, I was in Bermuda. February, I was in Costa Rica. And then COVID slid in and said, time out. But not so much, because what God is doing by his grace, to God be the glory. I'm getting some things done that, guys, in all honesty, I should have finished last year. So he said, okay, I can't allow you to go on the road until you finish some of these things. I had a conversation with the Lord the other day. after I'd spoken with my accountability partner, Dr. Grace. I believe she's on another call right now. She'll listen to the replay. But remember when I spoke to you guys about God's plan for freedom and how He took me on this whole freedom journey, and He basically talked to me. I heard something. It was a commercial, and it triggered a word in me about the released slave versus a runaway slave. There's an escaped slave. There's a difference. Remember, we talked about that. The escaped slave, remember, they take off running. Yeah, they may be in a freedom land, but they're still technically not free, right? Got to look over their shoulder. And the reason why I believe God showed me that was because I still had some mindsets where I was looking to my past, and I was comparing my past. I had a serious breakthrough like last week and the week before in that area where I was comparing where I was going, kind of why I wasn't pushing too hard in that area because of what happened in my past. And so, fear of success is real. It sounds really weird to say that. The fear of success, who would fear being successful? And maybe this is somebody needs to hear this. I hadn't planned on saying this tonight, but the fear of success is this. You've tried things in the past and it didn't work. Now all of a sudden God is bringing this business opportunity and all this stuff back to you, and you want to give it your all like you did back then, but there's a fear that you're going to fail like you did before. God would not put it in your hands again if that was the case. But that's the fear of success. I had no idea that that's what I was struggling with because I was challenged with getting things done. God was steady bringing opportunities and conference calls and different things and just tasks in general. And I felt like I was stuck until I had someone and I saw something. I don't know how many of you are familiar with different types of spirits. And it's called the spirit of the python. And I'm just going to talk about the python right now, how that snake operates. It is not one that puts venom in you like the rattlesnake does. The rattlesnake injects something in you that's poisonous that could potentially take your life, right? The python, not so much. The python basically grabs a hold to its prey, holds it, and then wraps its body around its prey to literally choke the living life out of it. I mean, the breath of life out of it, because that's how it works. So why did God bring that across my path? Because I kept saying, God, why? I can't move. I can't follow through on anything. I know what I told him. I said, I feel like literally the life is being sucked out of me. That's what I said one day. I said, I feel like the life is being sucked out of me. I have no energy. That went on for months, guys. Went on for months and possibly even years, but it went on for months. And then God began to reveal to me 3 spirits that I was struggling with last year that I had to get on top of. It was the spirit of limitation, spirit of the python, and called the pythonic spirit, and then the spirit of the devourer, because there were cycles. I kept seeing cycles pop up in my life with finances. Get wealth, something happened, some tragedy or something that caused you to have to use a lot of it, and it was just like constant. And so I had to start opening up my mouth and take the authority that God and that even Jesus died for me. And so when I was getting my scriptures together to walk through that process, one of the scriptures that stood out to me was the fact that Jesus died so that I might have abundant life. That means I'm free. Totally. No questions asked. I'm free. So when I got that part of it, now he's walking me out to his plan of freedom. He's saying, you don't have to go to the gym or to lose weight. All you have to do is do what you know to do. Just be consistent. Be obedient to the things that you know to do. Drink your water. Do this. So it wasn't that I was trying to lose weight in 2018 when I started going to the gym. My goal was to be consistent and not to be on medication and to maintain the health that I had. That's all I did. And here, if anybody works out all the time, you already know that once you start working out, you can do that. They say 21 days builds a habit, but you do it over a couple of months, it becomes very addictive and you feel so good. If I don't work out now, it's like, I don't feel good. Okay. And guys, even in the last couple of weeks during this coronavirus, I started running. I didn't even realize I had been healed in my knees. Mindset. I'm still thinking, okay, I have inflammation in my knees. That's why I don't run. And then I realized, I'm like, wait a minute, my knees haven't hurt in months. I've been delivered. I've been delivered, and so I've been going through this whole transformation over the last couple of months with all of this God's plan to freedom, my spirit, my body, my soul. And right now I believe it's my will and my intellect. It's the soulish part of me. He released me in my body last year. So I'm walking in my femininity. I'm basically delivering everything. What you see on Facebook, I'm so proud of the admins in this group, is because you guys are flowing with what I saw. And when there was a certain sensual side that I wasn't seeing, that God was having me feel, but I didn't see it displayed in the Queen Network. And then Sandra Collins dropped something in the Facebook, and I mean, tears literally came, because that was it. It was us being vulnerable enough and opening ourselves up enough to say, that's how it's supposed to be. That's what I want. That's how it's supposed to be. That's how he's supposed to treat me. That's how I'm supposed to treat him. That's how close we're supposed to be. Nobody talks about that. So when she started dropping those, everybody else was doing their thing. I kind of knew their flow, but that part was missing for me, because God was talking about my sensuality and that there was nothing wrong with it. And for years, guys, in the church, that's why you hear me say I hate religion. For years in the church, I didn't, with modesty, but I was always edgy. I was wearing lashes when nobody was wearing lashes. I didn't have the color hair, but it was all spiky and I looked different. I need Patty Denise on here to talk about. She'll tell me all the time, you were just ahead of your time. But I was different. I didn't know why I was different. I was just different. But the people in the church, they didn't like it. And so they would say certain things, and sometimes it would hurt my feelings and all that. And then I started getting a tough skin. I didn't care. I was like 300 pounds and was still wearing my bright orange suit with my orange shoes. And I was like orange and yellow and lime green. They wanted me in black and white and a hat, not having it, But then one day God brought a woman into my life that looked like what I saw, and God began to take me down that journey. So I'm free in that area. And so now it's all about mindset. It's all about getting control over these emotions. So here's what I want to do. I want to play this conversation that I had after I had a conversation with Grace, because Grace was telling me that she had done some research, and I'm gonna let you guys listen to it on here. But God wants us authentically free, not faked free. There is a difference where we're one way behind closed doors, and then we get in church, we're all buttoned up and metaphorically speaking. You know what I'm saying? He wants us free. I love the water. I love the beach. I don't think I've posted as many beach pictures and me being out and about as I have in the past year, but that's who I am. But I wouldn't present that side of me. And so, but that's who I am. We're not doing fake free. It's like when I started listening to music, I was listening to all kinds of music. I've been listening to all kinds of music for years. I thought, okay, I was the only Christian listening to jazz. I love jazz. I love jazz, especially at night when I'm working. I love instrumental jazz. I love all kinds of music. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be with my spouse listening to gospel. Okay, but nobody was talking about it. Nobody was saying anything. And when I saw God going in this direction, I said, oh, that's why you wanted to toughen me up, because you knew you were going to have me go down this path, and you knew the persecution that was going to come with it. But I'm a big girl. I said, I'm a grown woman. I can take it because I know it's God. God's got me working on some projects that's going to release a lot of you women in your femininity. I can't wait to release those things. I'm working on the patent right now. But I know God wants us free. Not fake free. Okay? He wants you to be all that he called you to be, because the world is waiting on you. The Jonah that I was before last year, I now understand why I wasn't released to the platform that he's shown me, because that's not the Jonah that he wants on that platform. He wants the real me, the one that he created, put all those things into before he placed me in my mother's womb. So I want to play this message for you, because after I got off the phone with Grace, I do like I always do, and some of you guys do it too, but you need to record it. So I recorded it, and I went back and I listened to it. So here we go. I'm still talking about this God's plan for freedom message he got. I don't know if this is a book or what, but probably is a book. Thank you, Grace.
I said this the other day. I said that God
was dealing with me about the different types of slaves, and then I later heard it on another show or something, and it was similar to what God had showed me, but God was dealing with me about what was about the whole mindset of looking back and looking over your shoulder, and the difference between a free slave, one that's got papers and is authentically free, and one that escaped. That mindset is totally different. The way they live their life is totally different. And so what then happened was I was sharing that with my accountability partner, my spiritual partner, and she was saying, well, let me add to that, because she had done some research on slavery. And guys, I had to bring my voice down. I've always been told that, first of all, I get excited and my voice goes up. And guys, I speak for a living. I speak a lot, right? And so it can be challenging on my vocal cords if I keep talking at that level. So sometimes you guys probably wonder, why is she talking so low? Why is she talking like that?
My sensual voice.
It's healthy for me to keep my voice down. That's what it is healthy for me. To not put the strain on my vocal cords. So it's hard.
My vocal cords are
I get excited, but yeah, I have to keep it down. So here's what she said to me. She said that back during slavery times, if a free slave stayed within a certain proximity of the other slaves, they risked losing their freedom. I said, ooh, she and I both said, now that'll preach. So here I am walking in this newfound freedom, but yet I'm still connected to slaves that have not been freed. And you want to know why in certain relationships, why it's just so topsy-turvy, why we can't seem to connect and agree, and it's always so frustrating and so forth and so on. It's because maybe at some point in the relationship, you bonded in dysfunction and somebody got free. You tried to stay in that relationship of dysfunction with your current newfound freedom. It doesn't work. Doesn't work. You need to take your papers and get on the train, baby, and head north. Metaphorically speaking, And so when she told me that, I said, oh my God. I said, so, and then she also told me that's why a lot of blacks own slaves, because the reason why they would do that is because they were free. They would buy their family members just so they wouldn't get bought by other masters. Okay, so that was that. But when she said that part about if a free slave messed around and stayed and connect, that's why when you see movies, the free slave would always be going somewhere. They all somewhere. Because if they stayed close to where the other slaves were, they risk. It was a law. That's what she said. It was a law that if you stay within a certain proximity of the slaves, that you could lose your freedom. I said, oh my God. Well, look at here. So here's what I said. I said, this is why we struggle when God has set us free in certain areas. And guys, I'm just being transparent. That's what happened to me. God began to release me in some areas. And so I'm what you call a released slave. Yes. I used to be in bondage.
Got
right?
My papers.
And so he released me. I didn't escape. I didn't just run away and try to go do something and still held on to that. No. I've been released. And so things are opening up to me now, and I'm moving in a different flow and all of that, because I don't have to look over my shoulder. I don't have to wonder what is and all that. I attract who I am, and who I have become is what God created me to be. So I'm as amazing as God has created me, as amazing as I am, I'm about to attract everything amazing around me. That's the way this works. And so, but if you try to stay in the proximity of the bondage, are those that still are, and they're still in their bondage, and they refuse to change and be free. Because everybody can be free. Freedom, Jesus died for that. That was what started me on this side of the relationship journey. The money side was when I didn't see the finances in the kingdom, questioning the economy of God and so forth, the economy of the kingdom. And you guys know that whole path of the preparing the kingdom. Well, when God brought me on the other side, or brought me to the other side of repairing the kingdom, that's what started this, was this whole thing about, the relationship. And I was like, God,
I don't understand why the divorce rate is so high and so forth and so on. And so then he took me on this path of freedom and how I had to become free in my mind and free in my body. So I've just been on this perpetual path of freedom. His way. You know, a lot of you have seen the transformation in my body. I don't really know how much weight I've lost. I really don't. I know it's been like 30 plus pounds or so, and I'm still losing inches and everything, but I love the way my body feels. I'm healthy. I'm not on any medications. That's what's most important. But the glow in my skin, the pep in my step, and how I feel about myself has totally changed. That's God's plan of freedom. But here's what opened me up to this. I heard this scripture a different way one time, and it talked about Jesus dying for the abundant life that I was supposed to be living. Abundant living, kingdom living. So, me with my analytical mind, some would say I think too much. But honey, this thinking has made me a lot of money, and it's got me in the good graces of God, and he created me that way. So, I would say, take it up with him. But that's what I was doing. I was thinking one day, and I said, God, where is this abundant life you keep talking about? This kingdom living structure that you keep talking about. And so that's how I ended up with the Queen Network and how we focus on relationships and finances. So not only does God want to prepare the kingdom, but he's repairing it at the same time, starting with the king and the queen in these relationships. Because there's no way that the marriages inside of the church divorce rate should be the same as the world when we have the written test. Makes no sense. So here I am in this lane. But it starts with you becoming his kind of free. And we can be in relationships with people that are dysfunctional, that are out of convenience, but mostly dysfunctional. We're in agreement when it comes to dysfunction. This is not good part of my life, so I'm going to fix it with this. This is not a good part of my life, so I'm going to fix it with that. You know, instead of just fixing you. You know, once I made myself the target and not everybody else and everything else, then God could work with that. Because now I'm repairing me first. But I will say this, and I'm going to keep this, I'm trying to keep these under 10 minutes. I will say this. If you allow God to repair you, he can then prepare you. And that's the whole combination of preparing the kingdom and repairing the kingdom. If you'll let him repair you, he can prepare you. It's very difficult for you to prepare for what's next when you're broken. It's very, very difficult. But if you allow him to step you into his way of freedom, I want to say this to you, that you may be put in a position to have to make a decision whether well, you know what, here's the thing, you have to go to God to get the instructions, but here's what I'm finding. If I'm a free slave, then it wouldn't make any sense for me to stay in bondage, and I've been set free. So if I'm still connected to bondage type relationships, individuals who refuse to do the work so that they can be free too, I can't stay in that environment, because then I become in bondage again. The more I meditated on that, the more I got free. I got freer.
Is that a word?
Because sometimes we struggle with the detachment of the bondage, because we've grown accustomed to the bondage. We've gotten comfortable with the bondage. We almost treat the bondage like it's a pillow we hug at night, because we've managed to connect in dysfunction. And then the revelation comes on and God says, I'm releasing you. You are free. You no longer have to live that way. You have revelation. You have your assignment. I'm about to do this and I'm about to do that. And I just need you to cooperate. And then you start cooperating. You say, oh, but by the way, you're going to have to let that go. Say, what? You're going to have to walk away from this, and you're going to have to walk away from that, and you can't do that anymore, and you got to do this now. And so, yeah, it does come with some stipulations or some assignments, if you would. So I don't want you to think that you're just going to slide on into Freedom Land with no homework, okay? And I will say this, sometimes the detachments can be very, very painful. But God would not help put you on this path if he didn't know that you could handle it. And so there are times when I find myself faced with a hard decision, something I have to decide that's going to keep me on the path with God. So it's almost like it's not a decision, really. It's just a made-up mind to obey. And I do that thing. But here's what I've come to realize. He knew before he placed me in my mother's womb that I would be at this junction. And he knew I could handle it. So then I go into a space of gratitude and say, Father, I thank you for trusting me with this assignment, because you knew I was going to be at this fork in the road. You knew that I was going to make the wrong choice, and you prepared for it. You already put the plan, you put things in place so that I could get back on course. But you knew that once I got back on course, I wasn't going to be back on course the same way. I was going to be back on course with the lesson that I've learned. In Jesus' name. Love it. Love you, God.
So that was my conversation with the Father after I got off the phone with Dr. Grace Patterson, MD, because God was really unpacking for me that you can't stay in the same bondage environment and not expect that to rub off on you. But what she was saying to me was, even back then, if you stayed in the proximity of a slave that had not been freed, you were subject to lose your freedom. When you think about that spiritually speaking, you're in a situation and maybe it's a dysfunctional relationship. It could be anything, guys. Sometimes I speak more of the king and queen swag, but it could be business relationships. It could be any relationship. And you know that the relationship is out of dysfunction. There's dysfunction in it, whether it's a coworker or whatever. You go to God and get the instructions. But I'm here to tell you, once he gives you the instructions, you better do what he says. Because what's in the instructions are your papers to be released in freedom. And so with that comes the detachment of the bondage. And the bondage is connected sometimes to other people because they are not willing to do the work. And I'm not saying it's easy. It's not. But I cried out to God. I think it was last week or the week before. I said, God, I want you more than what I think I want. That's why that whole scene in the garden is just so powerful to me. Because Jesus said, this, what I'm about to do, going to the cross, is hard. I don't want to do this. And then, the Message Bible says, but what you want me to do? Because on the other side of that was multiplication. So on the other side of your purpose, on the other side of what it is that God has called you to do, your assignment, I told you mine on the front end of this video or this live. He's got that in front of me. So I can't stay in bondage. I have to walk in the land of the free because that's where my assignment is. And so I wanted to play that for you guys tonight. And that's it. Here's a question that I have, and I'm going to close with this. Well, two things. I want to announce again the prayers that are going on right now. 2 a.m. Central, 3 a.m. Eastern with Dr. Grace Patterson. It's a prophetic intercession and prayer. I've been putting the replays in the group. The other one is Favor, Queen Favor out of Ghana, Africa. She's on at 5 a.m. Central, 6 a.m. Eastern. And you should listen to the one that Grace did this morning because she talked about why she's having to pray at that time. A lot of times we're doing things, guys, we have no idea why we're doing it. Okay. And she explained it. I'm not going to go into that. You need to go listen to the prayer. All right. So you can be informed why you're getting prompted to get up at certain times of the night. And you're just laying there going, I don't feel like getting up. And God is saying, get up and pray. There's a reason behind that. And you need to know what that is. So go listen to that live. The live that Favor is doing, God is prompting her now to pray for marriage ready believers. If you missed that prayer this morning, honey. Thank Makisha was on there with me this morning. Oh my goodness. The affirmation, the confession, what she called out, what she bound, the things that she bound, like you say, bound in heaven and bound on earth and release. Oh, and what you should be saying right now as a marriage ready believer. But here's something she acknowledged on the front end. You cannot get to a place that you haven't prayed for, a seed that you haven't sown into. There's a harvest from seeds that we sow. So she basically began to intercede for marriages. Okay. She's interceding for marriage. When she said certain things, and it won't be a long time. Make it quick. let them find me quick. Let them find us quick. And so you need to go back and you need to listen to that, because that's a lot. The words that she was using this morning, because I was kind of laying down at first. I tend to do that. And then I do that with Grace too. I hit my alarm clock and I get up and I'm laying there, and all of a sudden they'll hit a vein, man. And I'll be like, whoa, I'm up. And so, but you guys need to go back. God is doing this for a reason. He's doing this for a reason in this time. And it's no coincidence. I'm trying to look at my time. It's no coincidence that we are connected to these individuals. Okay. And they are getting up. I was getting ready to say what the time was. They're getting up in the same block of time that God has called them to. There's a reason for that. Okay. So you have to listen to Grace's intercession prayer to get the reason. All right. And then you turn around and you listen to Favor. That's if you want a spouse. Or if you really want to, she prayed for marriages this morning. You're looking for marriages. Me too. And then, oh yeah, the Tarian stars. Yep. Okay. So thank you guys for getting on with me tonight. But you do need to listen to that. Now, I spoke to her earlier today. She and I check in pretty much a lot. I don't know when she sleeps right now, but because I think it's a 6 or 8 hour time difference. But she told me this afternoon that God has put on her heart to continue what she started. I knew when she stepped into that vein this morning, I said, oh, she's not done. I didn't know what the direction she was getting ready to go, but honey, when she began to reveal the things that God was saying, it was coming out of her spirit. By that time, I was on my feet. So you need to go and get in agreement with the word that God is sending in this season. You need to get prepared. You need to know what you should be saying and not saying. And again, at same time, she's going to be, I guess it's part 2. We'll see what God does. We'll see what God does. Now, I have a question for you. And Makisha, if you can type this in the chat for me. I put out there the other day that how would you guys feel about the live with our leaders here in the Queen Network? Yeah, both prayer times are extremely powerful, and they're different, but they so go together right now. I mean, I'm up and then I might nap, but then I'll do some work and then I'll stay up because my whole days and nights are totally different right now. But anyway, God has given us this time, so we might as well take it, right? So my question is this. Okay, so here's what I did. I put a message out there. How would you guys feel about a live with all the leaders on? Okay, we call them admins in the group, but they are really leaders here in the Queen Network. Primarily, they do most of the posting. I said this earlier, as I began to see a lot of them step into their callings. You can tell by the things that they post because that's their heart. They want the Queen Network to be empowered in that area. That's all this platform is about. It's the releasing of the women in this time for them to be able to walk in their assignment. So you're getting the benefit of their early days. God told me that. He said a lot of the leaders that are on this platform that he's releasing out, this is their early days. You will be able to say you knew them when. Or shall I say us? When. Okay? And some of you guys are supposed to be a part of that too. That's why you feel the connection here. Okay? But you guys said yes, yes, yes. So our next live will be the live with all the leaders on. But here's something I want to start off with, and then the leaders can share with me what they want to talk about on that night. But I have a question for you. And I had a conversation. It's one of my other conversations that I had. I think it's about 5 or 6 minutes long. I'm going to play it at the beginning of the next live with the leaders. But here's my question to you. Can a single man and a single woman be friends? I want to know what you think. Can a single man, don't respond now. I know some of y'all itching. Can a single man and a single woman be friends? Hi, Michelle and Mary. Who else came on? Guys, thank you for joining tonight. Can they? I also would like for you guys to invite more females into the group. If everyone on here would say invite 5 to 10, we would grow our group tremendously. Okay. So you think about that. All right. We're going to go off. I appreciate you guys getting on here with me tonight. I appreciate it. There's a message out there that Sarah Jake Roberts did on Friday night. She called it the finished product. I talked about it a little bit. I think you guys should listen to it. It's in the Queen Network if you scroll down. Okay, it's in there. But I just I don't know. I'm in a very grateful place right now. I know we're going through some hard times, and some people are really, really going through it, guys. They are really, really going through it. But I just want to say this, that He's still on the throne. Whatever He told you to do in your assignment, you better believe it. You better believe it and walk through it. So I'm going to go out with something that I love. So I'm here to tell y'all right now. Let me see.
Doesn't matter. He'll kill both
Here we
of us.
go. Right here. I love all kinds of music. And I said this. God wants you totally free. Totally free. What did I say? Not fake free. Not fake free. He wants you free. I look forward to us having the conversation. I need to get with my leaders to see what the best day is. Somebody say, well. Hi, Ange. Guys, you don't want to be a runaway slave. You want to be a released slave, released by God. No looking over your shoulders. God is faithful. He is so faithful. But we are out of the boat. That boat that bid me to come. Honey, we so out of the boat, we walking on water at this very moment. We are walking on water. So guys, come go with me. I'm going to play just a little bit of this chorus because I love it, and then we're going to go off. Thank you for joining me tonight. I love this song because I happened to catch this song when God was telling me to come on out into the deep. Come out into the deep with Him. So, hey, He ministers to me different. And He gave me a different message for drowning. Okay, you have to go back and listen to the video. Slowly drowning in deeper, deep waters. I'm drowning in. We're gonna go, guys. Deep water. Listen. Slowly drowning in deeper. My last question for you before I let you go. What one thing are you working on right now that you weren't before this pandemic lockdown started? I want you to type it in the chat. Keisha, if you can write that in there for me, I'd appreciate it. What one thing you have started that you probably should have started a long time ago, that you started and you're working on right now while you're going through this lockdown with this COVID-19? I will start off. I'm taking Spanish every day. Hey, I have nothing but time, 15, 20 minutes a day, and it's free. So what one thing are you doing that you hadn't started before, that you pretty much knew you were supposed to start this? So I plan on I'm getting pretty good. And now what I need to start doing is using it, because I'm just going through the test, you know. So guys, don't waste this reset time. Don't waste this reset time. Getting to know the real you. What does that mean, Katrina? What does that mean? Okay? Give me more. That's all I'm saying. All right? So guys, have a great night. Thank you so much for joining me. And stay tuned for that Facebook Live with the leadership team of the Queen Network. Have a good night.